Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're continuing to look at our urban parking system repository. In the last few videos, we've been looking at requirements modeling and management. And today we're going to be looking in particular at a bit of an introduction to dashboards as a way of viewing some of our requirements. My name's Scott Hebbard and I'm joined by Stephen Maguire. Welcome, Stephen. So what can you tell us about dashboards in Enterprise Architect?
Scott, thank you for the introduction and always great to be here. Yes, we've created a number of requirements in previous videos. We've also had a look at viewing those requirements in a number of different ways, particularly from the diagram, changing a graphical view into a list view and other types of views like a Gantt chart view. Today, we're going to focus on dashboards, so graphs and charts that you can visualize the requirements from a point of view of metadata, Scott. So the requirements have got metadata associated with them, as do all elements in Enterprise Architect, but particularly with requirements, this is an important aspect of viewing them. So let's get stuck into this, Scott. We'll go up to the top right-hand corner. I've been doing some work on database engineering. I'm going to change the tool's focus now to being requirements modeling. I select the requirements perspective set and then requirements. The tool changes and displays the builder page and a number of patterns there available. You can inject these into your models by simply clicking on the Create Model button. Great productivity gains, not just for requirements, but across a whole lot of different disciplines. And there are thousands of patterns in there. I'm going to work from first principles, Scott, so I'm going to close the builder page there. And I'm going to go here to the repository to find a location for this. So I can go into my repository here, my parking subsystem, payment subsystem there, and let's, under requirements, let's put a new package in here called dashboards. So the package goes in, and now I'm going to put that up to the top by using the selected in the project browser and using the little arrow keys here on the browser toolbar, move it higher up there, and I've got dashboards there. So what I wanted to talk about now, Scott, is that while we've got the dashboard there, I did select requirements up here, but I can be more specific about that. So I selected requirements for my perspective, but I can be more specific. And if I go into here and look at publishing example there, you can see that there are all sorts of other perspectives. So document publishing, dashboards and charts, dynamic charts, legends, glossary. So let's choose this dashboards and charts one there. So we're going to use it for requirements, but the reason why I didn't select it straight away was because we can use this dashboard and charts for any type of element. So it's not just confined to requirements, but we'll use it for requirements today. We select that there. We have a look at the dashboards and charts. We've got all sorts of examples here where you can create those models. Again, I'll close that builder page and I'll go into my toolbox and select dashboards. Now you can see that the toolbox has changed to be things to do with charts and
I can see pie charts and bar charts and a whole lot of different things down the left-hand side.
So let's put in a single dashboard here. We're going to create a diagram. So I'm going to select the dashboard package, go to the browser toolbar and select the new diagram one there. And you can see, because I've selected that perspective, that's the only choice there. I've got a dashboard diagram. I'm going to put dashboards there, and I'm going to call it requirements dashboard. So I can change the name here, requirements dashboard, I'll call it, and I'll create that diagram. Now you can see I've got a blank canvas, but I have got, again, my toolbox there ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just drag an element as I would any other element, but this time it's not going to be a requirement element or a use case or anything like that. It's actually going to be a pie chart. So let's go elements by status. I'm going to select that one and drag it into the diagram. And now you can see I'm given an opportunity to select the package that I want this to be based on. So the one I'm going to use is the payment subsystem, and let's go for the functional requirements there.
If you select a package, does it select the all of the sub packages as well, so all the children underneath, or is it just to a single package?
Yeah, great question, Scott. We'll come back to that one. There's a
Okay.
couple of functions with that. Let's just go for this package here, and let's have a look at what's happened. You can see that a chart has been created, and its elements by status. So approved, implemented, in progress, proposed, and validated in different colors there. I've also got this pop-up box, this dialog box that allows me to do different things to the chart. So it's a pie chart there. Let's start with the top here. I've got with the source selected there. On the right-hand side, I've got pie chart there. I'm just going to move that over a little bit, and I'm going to now select a 2D bar chart, right? And that is there. And I can, let's just go OK to that. And you can see that that's changed into a 2D bar part.
So all the hard work's done for you. You didn't have to add any code or didn't have to calculate anything.
No,
just
nothing,
did it
nothing to do there, Scott. Let's just go have a look at some different options here with this chart. You can see that a number of things. One, it's a 2D bar chart there. I'm just going to make it into a 3D bar, and let's go OK to that, and you can see now that it's 3D. It's got a kind of slightly richer kind of look there. Let's double click on it again and look at some other options. So we can set, we've got it set to be element status as the series. So that's the thing that we can look at there, but we can change it to something else as well. So we can change it to, to phase or to version or priority. And let's do that. Let's change it to priority there, and let's see what happens. So now the label hasn't changed. We would need to change that label, and I could do that now by setting priority there in the properties window. And let's change the name of that, but we need to change it in the diagram as well. Let's just leave it there because we're going to flick it around a little bit anyway. So elements by status, and I would change that in there, and let's just refresh that chart. You can see now that it's refreshed to priority. So let's go back again and look at a couple of other options. So we've got our source there. This is the package that we're looking at here, the functional requirements, and it's in the UPS model payment subsystem requirements. I can add or remove packages there, so I could add some more packages or remove that particular package. You asked that question, Scott, about whether child packages are included, and you can see on the right-hand side here that it says include child packages. So in our particular case, we don't have, our requirements are all nested under requirements without those packages. But let's have a look at some other things. There's some element filters here that we haven't got any filters set there, but we can add a filter if we want, and we can decide on whether we want between a particular date. So even though we've got all of those elements by priority, we might say, look, let's have a look at the ones that were created at a particular time. Let's have a look at them by author, for example. So we could do that as well. We could look at them by author, all sorts of other different filters we could add. So that's going to, add some richness to it. And again, Scott, as you pointed out, we're not actually writing any code. We're not doing anything there, and we could, just put that author one in there if we wanted to. But the other thing we look at is the appearance. So we've got lots of options here with the appearance. We can say, it's a bar or a column chart there. We can look at gradient, setting a vertical gradient, and we can also set the label position. At the moment, we've got that. Let's have a look at that. You can see it doesn't change our chart in the diagram, but it's changing the little preview there, if you like. So inside there, we can go outside, and so we've got it. We had the default there, which was, I think, at the top. Let's go back to our default. Yeah, you can see that default there. I can also display a legend if I want. So the legend there, you can see, is popped up there. That tells me what those colours actually mean there. And let's have a look at this other one here where we can change the orientation.
I was going to say, can you rotate the
yeah,
chart?
You can rotate it and do anything you want. So lots of different options there. Let's let's just say that we want this fill walls and floor as well. That gives it a kind of a bit of a three-dimensional look there, Scott. And let's go back to our source. We've got that there. We've got set as priority there, and we'll say OK to that. And you can see now that our chart has changed a little bit as that's, you can put that legend in, and I can just expand that and make it bigger. So lots of opportunity there to create charts, and you can do it simply, straight off the toolbox here. So I can also do this by a bar chart. So we had a pie chart there, and I've changed that now. So let's put this one back to being a pie chart.
Yep.
And we'll go OK to that, and you can see that that's there. And let's just do a similar thing, elements by priority there for a bar chart. Again, let's just select that particular package. So our requirements, our functional requirements there, and you can see again that's popped that up, and now it's in that state there, and we haven't set any of the other properties on that. So that's a useful thing to do, Scott. The other thing that you might want to do is to write your own queries as the basis for these things. So there are a lot of off the toolbox charts here, but I can create my own. So let's just do something. We'll just create just a standard chart here and put this one in, and we'll call it payment location. So this is going to look at where people pay for the parking. So let's have a look at that, and we're going to put in a different type of source for this, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's click on this one. It brings up properties there. Now we're going to say this is a pie chart. Actually, let's go for a 3D bar chart, and I'm not going to set the series there. We're now going to add some CSV here. So there's a little example there, Scott. So this is the purpose of this is it's quite often you've got some information that is outside the model. It's not part of your modeled information, and you want to represent it in a chart within the application. So I'm just going to paste in some things here. So I'll just take that one out. But it's about where people paid whether they paid at the meter or whether they paid in the app for January, February, March, April, and May. So I'll just go OK to that, and you can see now that what that's done is it's popped up a chart, and it's charted those values, and it's people that have paid at the meter or in an app there. So that's a useful representation. Let's have a look at this and look at our appearance. See if we can display a legend. Let's have a look.
I was going to say, what do the colours represent? So
yeah,
they represent the months.
Yeah, so there you can see it. It's very rich. It's a very rich display, and so any information.
So you could copy that data out of a spreadsheet, for example, and Enterprise Architect would automatically create the chart for you.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. This is a relatively simple one, paid at the meter or paid in the app, but a useful representation, and people might want to see it, and you can include it in documentation and other things. Let's have a look at another one. Have a look at standard chart. Let's have a look at a standard chart. We'll have a look at a model view. So this is an interesting one. We just looked at a standard chart. We'll look at a model view, and this one I'm going to call incomplete tasks. So again, there's my model view, and I'm going to click on this one, and now I've just been given a chart source here, and I've got some SQL in there. But just before I do that, I just want to show you the a prompt that you get, the IntelliSense. So if I can spell select there, select T_object, which is the name of the table. Now you can see here that's popped up.
Change colour.
Change colour, indicating as well that I've got the IntelliSense under here. So I can now look through these things, and what I'm looking for is object type. So it's giving me the list of columns that are on this table. So if you're a business person, perhaps just close your eyes. This isn't for you, but you can get your technical people to write this for you. It's very straightforward, and you can create some very powerful representations. So what I'm going to do is, I can just select that one there, object type, and I can keep writing the SQL. So Scott, I've got some SQL in my buffer. I'm just going to type that in, and relatively simple. We're just going to be displaying the object name, the resource, the role of the resource, and the date that they started and finished. There's some other bits of code in here, or some fields in here, the class GUID and the type, which won't be displayed. And we're going from the resources, object resources table, and the package, and we're doing it for a particular package. So what we want to look at is the percentage complete less than 100, so the unfinished task, basically. And you can see that that's popped up now, a result, and it has given us information about these incomplete tasks. And so this one here, the payment gateway integration, is less than 100%. And let's have a look at something, reducing this a little bit. Let's be a bit more generous and say we want to look at anything that's under 50%. Go okay to that. And you can see that's now reduced the list. So these are Paolo and Jenny need to get on their bikes and get this work finished, because they're under 50%. So that's a useful representation, Scott. The other thing that I might want to do is I might want to do let's have a look at this, a unrealized requirements. So let's have a look at that and see what we can do here. So I'll drag that in. Now again, I get this SQL, and I'm going to get some SQL that I've written. I can adjust this a little bit. Let's run that first, and then I'll make an adjustment to it, and you can see what's going to go on here. So this is looking at any requirements that haven't been realized. So, and a very important aspect of requirements management, in fact. And you can see here now that, there's a whole lot of requirements that haven't been realized.
So when you say hasn't been realized, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, great question, Scott. A requirement is a statement of something that a system must do, right? So if when people write requirements, they're saying what they want the system to do, what the system must do. Then it's up to the people, like the analysts, the systems analysts, the business analysts, and even developers, to take that down and say, okay, well, you need that requirement. Let's see how we're going to do that. Let's have a look at a requirements realization diagram, Scott. We've got one under here in our behavioral models, under our use cases. It's actually under our requirements model under here, I think. And we've got a requirements to use case traceability. Let's have a look at that. So you can see here that we've got a book parking session requirement and a display panel requirements. And so they read, as you would expect, the system must allow motorists to book any number of parking sessions, etc. Now that's going to be implemented by the book parking sessions. This check remaining time one, so the system must allow motorists to check the time remaining on the session. That's an important one. You're at an event, or you're at a sports function, and the game hasn't.
It's going to be realized by that use case.
The check remaining time, and then there's a information component here that's realizing that as well. The realization relationship, Scott, is this dashed line with the open triangular arrowhead pointing to the thing that is being realized. So let's have a look at this and look at our dashboard diagram here. I'm going to double click on this. Now I want to put something in this one to restrict what I want to look at. So I'm just going to say and T package e GUID. So I've got a particular GUID of a package there. Let's run that again and see what happens. And now you can see that the list is a lot shorter. So obviously the questions in people's mind is, what's this magic with this GUID thing? So the GUID is a global unique identifier, Scott, and I can look at my functional requirements here, and I can say, look, I've got a whole lot of other requirements up here in the payment system. You know, we've got lots and lots and lots of them up here under functional requirements. I didn't want to include those. I wanted to look at the ones down here that are more general requirements. And so what I've done is I've gone into the properties window and I've simply looked at that GUID there, and I've selected that GUID. So that is a useful thing to do. In this repository, that GUID will never change. So it's
unrealized requirements, but on a particular package where you've specified a GUID. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the sky's the limit, Scott, with these particular dashboard diagrams. I can write anything I want in there. And
just ask what a series is, because you've got some series charts over there.
Yeah, sure, Scott. So these series, where are we? The series charts here. Yeah, so these are about sort of time series, so things that have occurred over a period of time. So we won't look at those today. We'll deal with those in a more advanced topic. But it's a time series. So what happens over time? What was the total number of requirements at this date? What was it on this date? What was it on this date? And you'll see a graph showing you that. So let me just and see whether I can show you something with that. I might just go into the example model, Scott, and show you an example of that. So I'm just going to flick to the example model now. I've got some things here that I haven't got saved there, and let's go open the example model. So, and let's wait for that to open. So we've got a whole lot of different things here, and let's have a look. A whole lot of options here. We've got charts, standard charts, dynamic chart, time series. So I encourage people to use these. Use the example model, and just to go back through that again, I simply went to the starting page there and I found charts, double clicked on that, came down into this section here, and we were looking at time series. Let's have a look at that. And you can see here that we've got total tasks by team, but it's at particular dates.
Different dates,
it's the thing that happens over time. If you're a person that works in the scientific field, you'll be familiar with these things like recording rainfall for a meteorological model, or something that you might be recording climate change aspects, and you can see the different types of graphs that are presented there. This one's a testing status, so not run and failed, and you can see that these ones haven't been run, these ones have failed, and they're converging there as you move through time. So Scott, that's it for the topic of dashboards. This was just an introduction, but I hope it gives people an idea of the kind of things that you can do in Enterprise Architect.
Thanks, Stephen. I think it's fantastic that you can drag on pie charts, and you can have bar charts and pie charts and series, and you can even go into the weeds a little bit more and write some SQL to have some really powerful queries all visualized in Enterprise Architect. So that's fantastic, and I can see how it would be really good to create a dashboard so you can instantly at a glance see what's going on with all of your requirements within your system. As always, to our audience, thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. If you have any questions about requirements or using charts and dashboards within requirements, you can reach out to Stephen Maguire using his LinkedIn credentials and website credentials that are listed in the video description below. As always, thanks very much for your expertise and for showing us charts and dashboards today. Stephen, you've made it look very easy, and EA certainly does a lot of background work for you to make it simple. So as simple as dragging on and dropping, and it's almost all done for you. So thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Always a pleasure to be here. And remember that there is an incredible ability to visualize information in the repository through the web-based tools and Collaborate. So in Collaborate, you can create all sorts of dashboards, again, very quickly, but you can go into more detail if you want to. So if you haven't seen Collaborate, I encourage you to look at the charting and visualization capabilities in that tool.
Excellent. Thank you.